Renee in Salinas, California. Hey, Renee. Thank you for calling.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, just fine.
Yes. I just wrote some notes to myself, Tom, here. I don't know if I'm mistaking about what Rudyard Kipling saying about the white man's burden. This is an example of Rachel Dolezal, her name, of the white woman's burden. And as I was writing what you were saying about your particular experiences, I'm not trying to be black. I am black.
Right.
And I'm proud of being black. And I'm speaking for myself, but notwithstanding, I've been speaking with a lot of family members and friends about this issue. I don't take off who and what I am as a black woman for fun and shed my skin as if I was some type of snake.
Right.
Okay? And there's ways of being allies and true allies, not the type of ally who has contempt for whomever they're aligning themselves with.
Or condescension.
Condescension, which more often than not has happened towards African Americans. The so-called friends really show their behinds,
right,
and sooner or later betray us and have betrayed us. You be yourself. People will see who the true defenders, the true lovers of justice are about. But this issue with her, she's white like me, David Griffin. She's the soul sister, having fun on the so-called, I think, white side or black side, supposedly. And then on top of that, if you observe how, from what I've read about how she then lived in areas where there weren't too many black folks where she could easily pull this stunt off. Mm-hmm. Because I feel my position is that had she been somewhere where there was a bigger African-American base, people would have naturally, that she might have met, who are you? You know, who are your people? Where do your people come from? Are you from home? Are you from Louisiana? Are you from
she had a black husband, and she adopted one of her siblings as a black child.
Well, right, but what I've read, and again, there's a lot to sift through. She divorced that black husband, and being black or being married to whomever doesn't make you an expert.
I agree.
In that particular, you can be just as racist toward that individual.
I agree. Well, and that was.
I think she's demeaning. She was demeaning and has been to the lives of black women who live their lives 24/7, 365 under very trying times and trying circumstances, but still survive and thrive. And she's made a mockery of it. She's made a mockery.
Well, would you say,
without posturing,
Renee? Would you say that this is another example of white privilege? That a white person, that a white person can do this, a black person can't.
Female. White women's privilege too, because next to the white man, the white woman has, in my opinion, she has the second amount of privilege in being able to pull this off.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, and this is another subject matter, that she then kind of ingratiate herself to be a lighter-skinned black woman, which because of the issue of white supremacy of the lines of demarcation that were falsely created amongst us as black people, that I believe has a stream in here that's very painful to deal with in terms of how people read her and how she was probably given a degree of privilege amongst black folks who feel marginalized anyway to have gotten away with it even more so. And that's another conversation.
So that having been, so those people who thought that she was a light-skinned black person, light-skinned black people are essentially higher in the pecking order within the black community than dark-skinned black people.
With some, and that's something because if you've had 200 to 300 years of mind control and how can I say this, Tom? Of
indoctrination,
indoctrination,
cultural indoctrination.
It is so unconscious you don't even realize what you're doing.
Yeah,
and then at the same time of her going around, she has an MFA supposedly from Howard. How does she then become an expert in African American history? She's if she was an art expert, I can understand, but then she's going around posturing around the issues of scholarship that people have done their life work, and some of it sounds rather, as they say in the streets, rather whack.
Yeah, and this is why I said I'm not sure that she's the best example. I mean, it provokes the discussion, but it may just be that this is a woman who has mental issues.
Yes, but the best example for me is John Brown. But see, John Brown laid his life down, and others who did. But John Brown never went around saying that he was a black man.
Right.
He was himself.
Right. Yeah. Well said.